Hello everyone, KosakChess here, and welcome you in a little bit different video. I am recording right now from my home. The Kraków International Championship has already ended. Due to technical problems, I wasn't able to record the recaps from the last 4 rounds. Even in the first video, I mentioned that I forgot to take my own laptop with myself, which made this thing a little bit harder. Anyway, I managed to record the first 5 rounds of the tournament. If you didn't see them and you want to see how was the results, how was the tournament going for me, you can follow the channel. You can find it. These are the 5 most recent video on this channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different because I would try to make a short summary about the last 4 rounds. Also, I will say some few words after I end this analysis. You can obviously, if you want to follow, if you want to see the results, they are attached in the description. The link is attached in the description. So if you want to see how the tournament went for me, and also for your idols and etc., doesn't matter, you can see in the description. Yeah, I will try to make 4 analyses in one video, so they are not going to be that rich in comments, rich in my like thoughts. I would rather go through the most critical positions, but I will also try to describe it really quickly, and I hope you would enjoy it anyway. The first game of today, but the round number 6, I played against international master from Poland, Kacper Drozdowski. He used to be, or maybe I don't know if I can say he used to be, like he used to be a junior one day, but when he was junior, he was extremely talented. Like, he is probably still extremely talented, but in his youth age, he became a European champion under 16. He had multiple golden medals on Polish championships, but after he finished his youth age, he started university. Then he moved to the United States to study there. He ended the university and he came back to Poland. That's why he played the first classical tournament since 5 or 6 years. He's mostly known as a Kacparov. Don't be mistaken with Kasparov. On the chess.com, because this is the website he usually plays there, and his rating is like amazing, almost 3000. So specialist in blitz section, but we play classical, luckily. So yeah, I knew that I have white pieces and it's going to be a good and entertaining game. And knight f6 was actually the first surprise. He opted for c5 in the round number 2. When I prepared also for him, I checked his gaming database. He has never played the Alekhine. I know the English-speaking guys would rather call it Alekhine, but Alekhine was Russian, so Alekhine sounds strange, in my opinion at least. So I will rather use this Alekhine name. I played the move e5, knight d5, d4, d6, knight f3. Of course, c4 probably is the better move if you want to fight for an advantage, but because of the fact I was surprised, I played knight f3 as I played in the Nepo in the recent title Tuesday I've participated in. D takes e5, knight e5, g6, bishop e2, bishop g7, knight f3. I made some lazy moves, like you can see bishop e2. After the game, he told me that bishop c4 is the most critical move. I didn't know about it. Now I know. So I made some lazy passive moves, and after bishop f5, like c3, of course, it looks fine because it strengthens the position in the center, but it doesn't kick away the knight from d5 outpost. So after several moves, like I played some knight a3 move, because after knight d2 I close the bishop, and again I give up the f4 square. After knight d2, knight f4 is maybe possible. So I play knight a3. Of course, there's nothing wrong with white's position. But we play, yeah, as I told you, I played some lazy moves, and because of, like, in general, when you face Alekhine, you hope that you have an advantage already after the move number 2 or 3. There is no advantage at all. The position is equal, and it is kind of fail, yeah? We can call it as a fail. If you allow black to equalize in Alekhine defense, it just means that something went wrong. But I kept developing my pieces. I played queen d2, bishop h6, trying to exchange this bishop, although this bishop is not that strong, but I was just lacking to find any idea. Bishop h6, queen h6, queen f4. He was happy with exchanging queens, going for an endgame. To be honest, me either, because I knew that I have a rook on the open file, this pawn is weak, I can attack it from both sides, and that's what I was doing. Rook fc8, knight e5, knight a5, rook c1, a mysterious rook move, but it is a prophylactic one, because after the move a3, where he wants to break this beautiful pawn chain, I have knight a3, and the knight c3 tactics doesn't work, because now I can recapture with the rook. With the rook on a1, I could go with the pawn on c3, but after rook a3, it is black who is better. So king f8, g3, bishop g2 may be in there, knight f6, knight b4. So as I told you, I am attacking this pawn from the both sides. He played the move a3, b3, and c5. Like, after the game, Kacper told me that he felt that he is close to equalizing this game. When he opens the position, when he is going to attack the pawn on c3 by doubling his rooks, he should be perfectly fine. During the game, I had a little bit different feelings. I saw that this bishop is attacking the pawn. Of course, rook a8 might be dangerous, but on the other hand, this rook, if I close it somehow, I felt something in the air. I felt that this position might be critical. I assessed this position correctly, but I didn't find the best way to get a winning advantage, apparently. Yeah, winning advantage. I played the move knight bd3. I thought I am smart to transfer the knight on f4, to attack the pawn, to attack the bishop. It is still okay. But there is a better move. There is a better move, which is bishop g2. Rook c8 to attack the pawn. Of course, like, I discarded bishop g2 immediately because of rook ac8. But there is this thing, it is not easy to spot. Like, maybe in this position it becomes a little bit easier. But at this one, when you see a lot of possibilities like knight d3, knight c6, knight ec6, etc, etc, it might be not that easy. But the thing is that after bishop g2, rook ac8, I have this critical, the only move, a really concrete one approach, bishop b7. I attack the rook for no reason, you may think, but there is a reason. I want to control these two squares, especially the c8 one, and also kick off the rook to not attack the c3 pawn. If the rook goes somewhere, it doesn't really matter. Like, if the move rooks, knight a6 is the pre-move. Almost knight a6, or like, yeah, knight a6 is a pre-move. Yeah. If the go rooks there, okay, I can take it, but on any other move, I can go rook a6. Let's say rook d8 looks most natural, knight a6, and you can see that all these squares are covered by my pieces, and the rook is gone. So I am now getting a material advantage, after which I should convert it. I missed it. I played knight bd3, would then wait knight f4. Still the position is okay. Knight bd5, knight d6, f takes e6. He has damaged pawn structure. Also, I get the move c4, so I get rid of my weakness on c3. And after bc4, I recaptured with the knight, thinking that opening the rook and attacking the pawn is fine. But it turns out that black holds this position because of the dynamic factor. I played rook c2, knight b4, rook e2, so I transferred my rooks to make an additional pressure on the e6 pawn. But the thing is that with this pawn on a3, it fixes two of mine pawns, and this knight on b4 is really annoying because I can't kick him off with any of my pawns. It attacks the pawn on a2, so the rook is kinda attached to the second rank, and I can't do really nothing. He also needs to like rook ca7. Okay, so he's probably hoping that I will take the pawn. But if I take the pawn in any moment, he will take the pawn on a2. This pawn becomes really dangerous passer. I am losing. So I play the move rook d2, understanding that there's nothing I can do on the e-file. Knight d5, knight e5. Rook d6, knight c4, rook c6. I was also a little bit low on time, so after bishop h3, rook a6, I just decided, okay, I will reach move 40, so I will repeat the position, and I will go to the toilet. But after rook c7, like, he also was really fine with a draw. He can't really make any progress. After bishop h3, I repeated the position the third time. He claimed the free-fall repetition. That's why the game ended in a draw. He made a really good job by choosing this surprising Alekhine defense. It surprised me. He equalized, but then he played maybe a little bit unconsciously. He allowed me to play this move knight b4. Then I could make a pressure on the c6 pawn. He obviously then played this break for c5. But as you could see, I was winning after this maneuver bishop g2, bishop b7. But okay, draw is a draw. It was not a bad result. Still without a loss. Let's go to round number 7. In the round number 7, I played a first grandmaster, a first grandmaster from Azerbaijan. It is really funny, like, funny story. It is only maybe funny for Polish players, maybe, yeah, but I will say it anyway. In Polish, like, the citizen of Azerbaijan is Azer. And his name is Azer. Can you imagine? He's from Azerbaijan, his name is Azer. For me, it is like the peak of the sense of humor, the peak. So it is funny as hell. I knew that if I want to fight for something, if I want to climb to the top, I made already 3 draws, which is of course without a loss. But 3 draws was not a result which satisfied me. I played the black pieces. I knew that this grandmaster, this Mirzoev player, is really solid guy, especially with white pieces. He had amazing statistics with white pieces, non-losing a game like for some years. Like, you know, d4, even throughout the tournament, he hadn't lost a single game with white pieces. Because d4, d5, knight f3, e6, and the move g3. Especially if I knew that he plays such a solid openings, it's not easy to catch him that quickly. I played the move b6, bishop g2, bishop b7. I thought that I can't be worse. He makes a fianchetto. I will do it also. I also say fianchetto because it's an Italian name. So, Alekhine, Russian name, fianchetto, Italian name. So I will rather try to say it as the origin of the name tells us to say it. Castle, knight d7. I am developing this normally. Maybe c5 coming. C4, d takes c4, queen a4, a6, queen c4, and knight f6. Of course, a6 was with the threat of playing b5, queen c4, knight f6, rook d1, and the move h6, which is, in my opinion, pretty okay, because in many variations, these Catalan variations, white wants to exchange this dark squared bishop. So after playing h6, I'm not allowing him to exchange this bishop for my knight on f6. Knight c3, b5, queen d3, and c5. So this is a typical breakthrough in this type of structure. If I can develop my bishop with one tempo, not moving it first on e7, then to c5, I can move it in one tempo. This is a really good decision for me. Bishop e3, queen b6. So this is like a perfect, but a really typical setup. I should also make a castle and put my rooks on d8 and c8. Perfect position for black, no problems at all. I think I equalized without any problem, but okay. Equalizing a game is one thing, but winning the game, like from position like this, is another one. Bishop takes c5, knight c5, queen d4, and castle. b4 was concerning me a lot, but after b4, like, I was afraid of knight b1. Well, this is the only move the position. But the thing is that I'm giving up the c4 outpost, and after castle knight d2 rook f d8, he may not care about the fact that I attacked his queen. He may attack my own by playing knight c4, and this knight is amazingly placed there. Knight d6 is coming, maybe knight a5. With this pawn on b4, I give him so many possibilities. I didn't want to allow him for doing this, so that's why I played the move castle. I knew that if I don't play b4, he will play b4 by himself, but knight cd7, I remember like one game, the very first game from the book Zurich 53, the candidates tournament from Zurich 53, when there was like Bronstein, Smyslov, these still like old great masters. There was a first game of Geller, but I didn't remember the opponent, and Geller probably had like the very same structure, like this b5 a6 pawn, queen on b6, knight on b6, and with this pawn on b4, it is not so easy to play for white, because the knight is no longer protected. It means that I can easily develop my rooks. Bishop g2, king g2, rook fc8, because this rook might be useful for maybe someday I will play a5 or no. And also I allow the f8 square for my king, so I can keep it closer because we reached an endgame. So rook f8 for me like made perfect sense, although this might look like okay, I close the rook, but king f8 just intuitively felt better for me. Rook ac1, and he offered me a draw there, and I knew that accepting the draw probably is a normal decision, but not for me, where I want to fight. I didn't come for this tournament to make a quick draws. I wanted to fight for the full point. I risk, of course, the fact that I may lose this game, but I didn't see a way how can I mess up this position. Knight c4, knight a3, knight a3, so maybe a strange positioning this knight, but I want to get the c4 outpost for my rook, doubling my rooks, and also centralizing my pieces. Like, the game was really fine for me. Like, I put this knight on c3, I attacked the pawn on a2. Okay, maybe it is still not easy to make some progress, but I slowly play upwards. I slowly play towards e4, rook c6, h4, rook c4. Like, I just didn't know maybe what to do. That's why I awaited this one move. Rook d4, rook e3, knight c4, some little juicy tactics after rook c3, knight d3, you see with a check, and his position is collapsing. So after knight c4, I recaptured with the rook, and rook c7, hoping for another tactics. He wants to defend his pawn because I am attacking it, so you may think, okay, that you can play a3, but I was hoping for that. Knight d5 is the killer move. I am attacking these two rooks. He can't recapture my knight because he loses this one, and he can't capture this rook because I captured this rook with the check. He played rook a1. He was really smart, even being low on time. He spotted these tactics really quickly, but anyway, I repeated the position once because I also wanted to know, does he still want to fight for a draw? I understood that yes. And then h5. Yeah, I mentioned to you in several videos that repeating this position once may cause some psychological effect in opponent's mind. After playing this move h5, he knows that he needs to be still ready for the fight. a4, rook d8, now I again occupy the d file, ab5, rook a3, and rook d2. Okay, he can take my knight, but this endgame is really pleasant to play. I can gain the pawn because I am winning this pawn. I have this passer, 4 against 4 on one side. From the practical side, probably the position is winning, although the engine says it's still a draw. But from the practical side, from the human side, it is impossible almost to calculate all the consequences of going for such a rook endgame. Imagine that you just, when you have this position, yeah, if you have this position, this is the move number, we reached move number 40, so he had this additional half an hour to think, but, you know, imagine going for rook c3 and suffering for next 2 hours, because I would try to make him suffer. I would try to press, push the pawn, b4, b3, move my king to the center, etc., etc. Maybe, you know, attack the pawn on e4. and he's still suffering. He needs to still defend. Defending, you don't want to reach positions when you know that you defend for the next 2 hours. It is just like, I don't know even how to say it, but you don't want to go for this. So I understand his decision by playing rugby free, but I'm still giving him a chance. King h7, improving the position of his king, not get any checks on the last rank. He keeps fighting, but after king h7, knight d3, now I take my own chance. Knight d1, rook f3. Of course, the engine says he still should take the knight on c3, should suffer, should defend, and probably with the correct play, with the most precise play, the position is drawish, but not from practical side, as I say. Knight d3, knight d1, rook c4, attack the pawn. Now I double on the second rank, knight d3, rook e2. Anyway, I get this pawn. Knight e3, knight g4, so nice maneuvering. This pawn is under a lot of pressure. King g2, boom, boom, rook e2. Attack, now the knight h2 is hanging, so after king g2, but now the e4 pawn, e3 pawn is running, knight d3, rook d2, and it was the last move where I beat a grandmaster, Mirzoyev Azar from Azerbaijan, which still sounds funny, but he was playing good, he was playing solid, but I was, keeping the pressure, I was fighting till the very end, and I clinched it. So we had the win. With the black pieces, we go to the next round. Szymon Gumularz, a strong grandmaster from Poland. He's one of the best Polish players, actually. With his rating 2593, he might be like even in the top 5 of Poland right now. Amazing. If not the, if he didn't participate in Polish championships, he would cross 2600. He would cross 2600 after this tournament. So this only shows the skills he presents every day. This is the opponent I played. Our first game happened in 2013, 2013 on Polish championships under 12, and can you imagine that ever since I haven't won a single classical game. We play like 15 classical games throughout this period. Never won a game against him. Never. Like against Marcin Sieciechowicz. Never. But against Marcin I played against in 2018 or something. Or 17. But 2013. Like I'm waiting 11 years. Maybe it changed. Maybe it changed there. e4, e5. Knight f3, knight c6, knight c3, knight f6, and h3. I decided to go for such a interesting line. Of course, engines immediately say that it is equalizing, but it's hard. It's a hard task to find something which gives you an advantage. Like it is, I will tell you, it is impossible to find an advantage after e4, e5. It is impossible. So you just try to make your opponent, to go for, and maybe not an unpleasant position, but on the territory which he might feel unknown, and this was my intention. I just wanted to surprise him and go for such a position, which I analyzed a little bit, and hopefully he did not. d5, of course, the most natural response. E takes d5, knight d5, bishop b5, knight c3, bc3, bishop d6, d4, e4, castle. Like dc3 is an inaccuracy thanks to bishop g5 and rook e1. I'm having a really great attack on the center. Castle, c takes d4, and he played the move a6. He already spent some minutes before before we reached this position. I was actually playing by hand because I knew every other move. But a6 surprised me a little bit. I recognize that there is a move like this. It's very logical. The engine says, I will maybe show you the variation with what engine says. The engine says you have to play bishop d3. Like, I know that because I already analyzed this opening, so I can tell you something. Bishop d3, knight b4, bishop e4, f5. So he still keeps you attacking this bishop, but you escape, bishop d3. But after the move b5, which is the top engine recommendation, can you imagine this dance? Bishop d3, bishop e4, bishop d3, bishop e2. Yeah, chess of 21st century. It is good. It is fine. Okay, yeah, but yeah, we're human. We take the knight. We take the knight. We destroy the pawn structure. B takes c6, c4, c5, bishop g5, f6, bishop e3, c takes d4, knight d4, queen e8. No problems for black at all. No problems. He equalized. Even after rook e1, queen f7, queen c2, queen g6, he offered me a draw there. He offered me a draw. And ambitious Cossack chess decided, okay, yeah, I didn't come there to accept quick draws. I just want to fight. I am risking, of course, the fact that I may lose this game, because a draw against such a player, of course, is a good result, even with white pieces. But I just, as I told you, I want to play chess. Like, I think it's normal. I think it's normal to play. I played the move c5, bishop e5, and something really stupid happened in my mind. Something really stupid, because I was calculating variations, and in my head, I already made a move queen g6, h6. Like, some crash happened, some glitch, some error 404 in my head right now. Because I moved this queen g6, h6 already in my head, and I thought, okay, now rook a d1 looks really good, right? Now rook a d1 looks really good, developing the rook, putting the rook, both rooks on the central files, maybe knight c6, like I will maybe tell you, rook a d1, knight c6, maybe some f4 attacking this bishop, and I played rook a d1. And it was a glitch that I don't remember when such a similar thing happened to me in recent times. I don't remember. But like, imagine, can you, like, okay, maybe I will tell you differences. Like, it is visible that after queen g6, h6, rook a d1, we reach the same position with the rook on d1 and with the centralized knight and with the damaged pawn structure. If I play rook a d1 immediately, he of course exchanges queens, but his structure is not damaged, and my knight is on c2, not on d4, and his pawns are clean. Bishop e6. Now I am oh, I disappeared the board, sorry. Now I am lost. No loss, but I'm now I am, how to say, worse. Now I am worse. He has bishop pair, I have knight on c2. Because of this freaking glitch, why am I disappearing this board? Sorry. Because of this glitch, now I had to worry about this pawn. With the knight on d4, of course, bishop e6 is impossible. I could just take the bishop. So I played a3, bishop b3, rook c1. Now the turtle. Now the, turtle mode. Now we defend. We play passive. We accept what happened. But we still continue to play. I had to switch this mode. Like, I was so annoyed. I was so freaking annoyed on myself that I messed up the move order. But I had to, switch the mode. I had to, like, understand that, okay, it happened. You can't undo the time. Just focus on what is happening right now and don't destroy it. And I did it. Rook fd8, rook e2. Of course he's... Come on! What is happening? Sorry guys, sorry. Rook fd8, and what is happening? You can see, he has bishop pair, right? I have this pawn on a3. I have this rook on c1 which shoots in front of my pawn. a5, knight d1, and I'm making these amazing maneuvers. But I just want to survive. And it was quite a good maneuver, because I want to transfer the knight on f3 to put it on the better position. because I moved it on c2 because of myself. Thank you very much, crowd. Thank you. a4, f4, bishop d4, knight f3, bishop e3, rook e3, and somehow I managed to survive it. Somehow the position doesn't look that bad. Probably in this, like, during the game I was really afraid of the move bishop d1, which he makes me to exchange the bishop, the one pair of rooks. He plays bishop e2, which limits the possibilities of my knight. Then he can play rook b8, rook b2, something like this, or bishop b2, bishop a3, with these two bishops controlling almost every single square on the board. Look at my pieces, like, they are so terrible. They are so terrible. Black is better, like, black is obviously better. But he maybe played some, I would not say lazy moves, because he is still better with this bishop on b3, with my weakness on a3. At least I know that if I manage to put the knight on d4, I should be okay. And this is what I was trying to do. Rook e4, rook e3. Rook e4, rook d3. But now after knight d4 is bishop d5. So this is what was concerning me the most. And you know, the rook, the bishop, you can see. After rook d4, rook d8, rook d3, I managed to exchange one pair of rook. And after king f2, I am threatening knight d4. After he played king f7, this is a really unconscious move. In my opinion, he should play rook e4 to attack this pawn and not allow me to go for knight d4. Instead, he went king f7, and after knight d4, I was kinda happy because he was hoping for rook e4. But after rook e4, I'm playing knight b5 and I'm attacking this pawn. If he takes knight c7, you know, I might fight for some advantage because now I have a passer, there is a rook behind it, so I can push it as there no tomorrow. But after rook e5, knight b4, like rook e4, knight b5, the most critical thing is that he can't play c6 because of knight d6, the fork, and he saw it, he played rook d8, he offered me a draw, which I could accept 20 moves ago, without that complications. But because of the glitch, at least the game was interesting, and I made a draw. In the round number 9, there is a story. In the round number 9, I play the third Grandmaster, Eduardas Rozentalis from Lithuania. He's most probably living in Poland. I don't know, because he used to play for many years for the club Polonia Warszawa. He made a lot of gold medals on the Polish team championships with this club, so his part of history, at least, is connected with Polish chess, and he's a really strong grandmaster. He was with a joint lead with Szymon Gumularz. He like 6.5 points out of 8. My result is 6 points out of 8. What does it mean? It means that if I win the game with black pieces against a guy who didn't lose a single game throughout the whole tournament, if I manage to win this game, I am making a grandmaster norm. Right. But I had to win on demand. He played the move e4, c5, of course, if the win is the only result I care. If the win is the only result I care about, the c5 move, of course, natural thing. Knight f3, d6. Sorry, I should stop clicking this window. Okay. I stopped doing this. d6. Bishop b5, bishop d7, queen d7, c4, and the move e5, which I analyzed a little bit because it has a strange idea, because I develop pieces. I put the bishop on d8 for some reason, and I play knight d7 and castle. My pieces doesn't disturb each other, and f5 move might be coming in the nearest future. If I play on the king side, the right way to react for white is to react on the queen side. So the move a3, knight g7, rook b1, and the move b4 is, of course, understandable. This is the best way for white to continue the position. I made a castle, knight d5, and finally played the move f5, trying to open the position. He told me that he doesn't care about my move f5. He plays some natural centralizing move rook e1, b6, to never blunder a pawn in such a way to, if the b file opens, I just don't want to have the weakness on the b7 square. Bishop d2, f takes e4, d takes e4, rook f7. If the bishop disappears, rook f8 is coming, so the rook f7 is kind of a preparation for doubling the rook on the f file. b5, knight d4, knight d4, c d4, rook b3. And now I knew that his position is perfectly fine. The knight on d5 is centralized, although I have the free pawn. I have the free pawn, which is an advantage in the potential endgame, but there are so many pieces, so we don't have to even think about the endgame right now. I knew that if I play calm and non-controversial moves, the game might agree in a draw. Especially, I didn't mention that on the move number 10 or 11, he offered me a draw, which I rejected automatically. I knew that no draws today, no draws. I played something controversial, as I said. Bishop h4. I attacking the pawn on f2, g3, and rook f8. Okay. I am not caring about the bishop. I felt intuitively that this position is risky. I felt that it stinks. And probably it is. Because he reacted pretty quickly. I was surprised that a guy who is probably not in his like chess peak, he's 60 years old. So probably the older you are, in general, this is not a rule, but in general, the older you are, the more safe you try to be. You don't go for some complications. You don't go for the positions when you need to calculate a lot. At least this is what I thought. But he accepted my challenge, g takes a4. He captured that bishop, knight takes h4, some knight a3 idea, some rook f2. Maybe if something happens, queen h3. You know, I have many pieces on the king side. I have sacrificed a piece. f4, a really good reaction, because now it stops my knight f3 moves and rook f2. E takes f4, queen h5, and the move f3. So I don't care about my another piece. I just push. I want to push. Just push. Queen takes h4. He should go for rook f1. During the game, I thought that f2, king h1 and knight f3 is okay, and it gives me okay compensation. I attack the bishop. My pawn is on f2. It is advanced so much that I am not sure if white would like decide to like allow myself to go to allow myself to push the pawn that far. But the thing is that the concrete variation works. Bishop f4 to take the pawn on f2 to defend the bishop. I thought during the game that I have rook f2, knight f4, and knight d2 to make the fork, attack the bishop, attack the knight, and I am. Oh, sorry, the camera is. Oh, I am not sharp on the camera. I am not sharp on the camera. You don't see me. Why is that happened? I don't know. Maybe let me turn on the lights. It didn't help. So I will be not that sharp, but at least sharp on the board. And I disappeared it again. Wow, what a good quality of this video, really. Okay, I am not sharp. I am not sharp. Maybe I will disappear. And will come back. I will play some tricks with this camera. I will disappear. And I will come back. Ah, I tricked you, camera. I tricked you. I won this battle. I won this battle. Ha, now I'm sharp. Now I'm sharp. But rook f2. Knight b3, queen d5. Beautiful idea is this. After king h8 there is knight g6 and I am losing the rook and getting checkmated. And after queen f7 it is still knight g6. Beautiful, beautiful idea. We both missed because if he saw it, he would go for it without hesitation. Instead he played queen h4, f2, king g2, f takes e1 knight, bishop e1, and I played the move queen c8. I just wanted to attack the pawn. And again, like, I didn't see any other option for me to continue. Maybe right now, maybe I should go with the rook on c8. But I thought that he has some compensation like this. He can play rook g3. Knight f6 is the threat. I thought that if he has two pieces against the rook, I should hurry. I should hurry a little bit. I can't play lazy moves because I will just get outplayed. So rook c8 for me looks too lazy because of rook g3. Probably, maybe because the assessment is correct. I am not sure. I played queen c8 instead. But it forced some variation I didn't really want to see. But I didn't see any other option. Because if I play normally, he can play rook g3, somehow catch this pawn, and with the knight on d5 I can't get rid of. Probably it is just winning for white. That's why queen c8. Knight d7, rook e7, queen e7, queen g4, rook g3, queen e2, king h3. And can you imagine, 60-year-old guy calculated it everything. He thought for a second that maybe bishop g3 is possible. But after queen d1, the position is over because I am threatening to give a checkmate and to take the rook. But he intuitively felt that rook g3 is just better to attack the pawn on g7, which makes perfect sense. Queen e2, king h3, g6. Like, during the game I thought maybe I have queen f1, but rook g2, rook f3, bishop g3, and imagine that everything is safe and white holds. And like, not hold, they are piece up. Like, the queen check, the queen d6 is possible. Like, my pieces only look dangerous, but they can't do nothing. They do nothing. Sorry, they do nothing. So I played g6 to attack the bishop, to maybe try to keep still some checks. If the bishop moves, now I have the move queen f1. This was my intention, because now there is no rook g3, bishop g3. But he played queen d6, and I understood that after queen e1 there's rook g6, and bye-bye. If I continue like queen e4, he exchanges queens. We need to remember that I am still pieced down, and he defended perfectly. So the game ended like queen h5, king g2, queen e2, and we agreed on a draw. It is not an easy thing to deal with when this is a third tournament in a row. The first one was the round robin in Greece. The second one was the Polish Championship. The third one is this Kraków Open. This is the third time when I need to win on demand with black pieces if I want to reach a norm. And this is the third time in a row when I fail. Shit happens, I think I have to say. Anyway, I am, like, on the paper it looks good because I earned several rating points. I reached third place, which also gave me some prize money. So, like, maybe I should be happy. But I knew that I failed. I came to this tournament for only one thing. I came for this tournament only like with one intention, and I didn't manage to fulfill it. So tough luck. No, tough luck is a really polite shit. It's like shit happens. Yeah, really, shit happens in this game. Anyway, I played a good tournament because throughout the 9 rounds I didn't lose a single game. I was really close to lose in the game number 1 when I was this pawn up. Can you imagine that? Because, I was missing half a point. It was just enough to convert this game from the round number 1. It was just enough. If I lose a point on the games like this, I can't even think of becoming Grandmaster. You can see even Levi Rosman. He beat 2 Grandmasters. Like, after the 7 rounds, he was leading. He was leading the tournament. He was crushing everyone. He was showing amazing. Quality of the game. And then he lost one game. and it was over. It was over after losing only one game throughout the 9 rounds. It is tough. Even imagine that grandmasters, some grandmasters can when they are already grandmasters, let's say they also fight for a grandmaster norms. A lot, like the majority of grandmasters which played in the tournament, didn't even fulfill the requirements to make a grandmaster norm. Okay, like I don't want to say that I don't want to make the impression that I am, saying only excuses and excuses. But this thing is hard. This thing is hard, and I understand this is hard, but and I understand that I need to train and do what I do as usual, because, again, if we look at this tournament from the cold head side, it is... I played decent tournament. But it was still not enough. The decent tournament is not enough for achieving Grandmaster title. You should play amazing tournament. Decent tournament is not enough. It is how it is, guys. The next tournament I am participating would be in Marsilia in next... Marsilia, I know how to say it in English. In the next 2 weeks, this tournament starts. I don't know what I would do on this YouTube channel, because as you can see, I am not that regular with posting new videos. But I just want to clinch it one day, and I really hope that it is not the impossible thing to do. It is not the impossible thing, but it is hard as hell. I try my whole life to make it, and I know this is not the easiest thing you can do. This is not the easiest thing you can achieve in your life, really. Thank you guys for being here with me, and yeah, see you in the next videos. Cheers!